Well, welcome back, everybody, to Music Talk. I'm Dave,
Mike.
and this week, well, it's good to be back too. By the way, I mean I know we were back last week, but man, it's just good to get back into listening to music again. Sort of. So this week we're going to take on the new Yes album, and it's called The Quest. Right? You got a really cool Roger Dean cover. Yes always has cool Roger Dean covers. I've always loved their album covers. You got the same thing on the inside there, same picture. There's your track listing.
Yep.
You have the six guys, which really one of the guys on here didn't even play on the record, but he's on here. He's part of the touring band, and that would be this guy here.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Jay something. I'll read it in a minute. So
Yeah.
he's the drummer percussionist that goes with the band on the live shows.
And he played track 6 on the album, I believe.
Did he? Because I was trying to find
Alan White didn't play all of them. Now, track 6 is he played.
No kidding. Because
Yeah.
I was looking for the guy's name because they have everybody that plays on here, and I didn't see his name on here.
I can pull it up.
Yeah, there's actually no drums at all on track 6.
Yeah, he.
So that guy didn't even play anything at all.
One review I read said that he was the one that played track 6. He was only. I guess there was some percussion or something in it. I don't know.
Well, that may be. Well, I'll tell you the truth. Here's your booklet too, by the way. This is what the inside booklet looks like. Picture of the guys again. So you got Steve Howe, Alan White, Jeff Downs, singer John Davidson, Billy Sherwood on bass, and then Jay Sheelan, I guess is his name. So you got all the lyrics here. They're kind of difficult to read because they're small and it's light. So you got everything, got pictures of all the band jamming in there on their little instruments and stuff. And anyway, so the cool thing about it, yeah, it was produced by Steve Howe. That's correct. It was mixed, recorded and mixed and all. Curtis Schwartz did the mixing. So one thing I will say is they tell you all the instruments that each one plays. Like on here, you can see that it's got every guitar that Steve Howe plays on it, which is pretty interesting.
3/4 Les Paul Jr.
Yeah. Yep. He's got that. He's got it on here actually. Les Paul Jr. on here somewhere.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we'll go through it here real quick, and then I'll just give you a. Anyway, we'll start out with the Ice Bridge, which I thought was the best song on the record. It starts out good. The very intro was ELP. That was totally Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yep.
That intro, I know I've heard them play that intro before. So anyway, and then it gets to this little string section that reminded me of Papa Was a Rolling Stone. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And I mean, it had some decent bass work in it, some good keys, the guitar riff that he was doing there kind of got on my nerves. And, there was a good trade-off on the solos, but he kept playing that one riff over and over on the guitar. And it was so annoying to me. So, to tell you that this is the best song on the album is not great. It's not great. I don't like this record.
No, I think to me, the first two tracks were the closest thing to capturing the Yes sound that they had on Topographical Ocean. And,
well,
it's close to the edge. They were kind of in line with capturing that sound, but after that, it just to me,
the second song, I mean, it had that stupid vamping horn section keyboard thing, and I hated it. And then it sounded like a movie score.
Yeah, it did, but
I was like, this is just it's like straight out of a movie score.
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, to me, the thing that separated this from Closer to Edge or Topographical Ocean was there were no interludes between the songs. They didn't do any interludes. Um, it wasn't really tied together at all, any of the music.
No.
It was like a lot of different ideas. And to quote another review that I read, it traveled down a well-worn path, meaning it was worn out.
For me, it didn't travel down any path I ever wanted it to go down at
No,
all. Uh,
it
it
it was
it was terrible.
it was just it was the Yes formula, but performed so I don't know.
Weak.
I don't know what the right word is to put on it.
It was very watered down.
Right.
Very watered down.
Drums were way in the background on a lot of it. There were
Honestly, I had a hard time with the drums. I thought they sounded like electronic drums. And he
Well-
hit that one cymbal, man, and it would ring forever. And it's like it was almost like one of them rivet cymbals,
right,
but it was totally electronic.
right.
And it would just go tsh, and it wouldn't stop. And it was like on 3 or 4 songs, man. The second one we talked about a little bit. The third one, Minus the Man, sounded exactly like the second one. They
Yep.
could have just went right into it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. There was no interlude.
No, yeah. And then the fourth one, they picked up the pace a little bit. It's kind of like a very 80s cliche keyboard thing going on there. Had some decent guitar work, very bad vocal work. Steve Howe's doing a lot of singing on this record, and he was never a good singer. And now he's prominent, and it's not good. So at the 5-minute mark until the 8-minute mark on this one, this song's called Leave Well Alone, by the way, the 4th track. And it sounded like he was trying to recapture Starship Trooper.
Yeah.
You know, the end of the Starship Trooper. And that's what that sounded like he was trying to do, but it was very unsuccessful, man.
Yep.
Then number 5, The Western Edge. The only thing I wrote down on this song was blah, 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 boring. I mean, I don't even have anything to say about that one.
I didn't bother to even comment on any of the songs other than the first one. The only thing I put down was Good Rocker. Sounds like 90210.
Kind of did have that 9021 90125. Yeah.
125.
Not the TV show.
Well, it may as well have been TV show.
Right. Well, the 6th one we got is the one you said didn't have drums, and I don't think there's any drums on it, but to me, it reminded me of when I went to Busch Gardens and I would see an Irish Celtic show. Right. That's what it reminded me of. And not a good version of it. I've actually heard better singers at these Busch Garden shows than this. And then the 7th was Music to My Ears, which was not music to my ears. It was a terrible title because the song was not music to my ears. And then number 8 is called A Living Island. Now, the one thing I'll say about this song is at the end of the song, near the end, there's a brush snare.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I liked on it, though, was that brush snare. So that was the first CD that comes with a bonus CD. So here's the first CD. It's a pastel blue. This has got 8 songs on it. And then the second CD, which is the bonus CD, is a pastel green, which has 3 more songs. So I took the first CD out and I'm like, well, maybe the second CD is going to save this record. Unfortunately, it did not save this record at all.
No.
And I mean, the first song on there is called Sister Sleeping Soul, which was, very boring. And then the 10th song, did you hear any of these 3?
Yes, I did. And I got to tell you right now, here's the very comment I made about the 10th song. I'm not even going to mention the title.
Okay.
Sounds like a ripoff of Dennis DeYoung.
It does. It totally is. Because, I mean, and the reason why is because it's called Mystery Tour, right? So all the lyrics are kind of based on Beatles songs. Well, they are based on Beatles songs.
Yes.
But you're right, man. It is exactly the same thing Dennis DeYoung did. But the difference is Dennis DeYoung did it well. And it was great.
The band was rocking.
Yeah. Right. And I'm thinking, okay, when I first heard the lyrics, I'm like, okay, this is a Beatles thing. You would think at least they would have tried to put something in the song to sound like the Beatles, or make you feel like a rock and roll happy song or something. I don't know, man. It just plain sucked, man.
Mhm.
And then Damaged World, mostly Steve Howe singing. Very bad idea. Steve Howe has never had a good voice. And from somebody like me that does not have a good voice, I know when I hear bad singing, because I sing all the time and it's bad. So I'm used to hearing bad singing.
Yep.
This whole album, I will say, I don't know what to say. I will say this. I hated the drum sounds, mainly the cymbals. I hated the drum sounds. The vocals are lame. The guy he sings like he has no balls, right? I mean, there's really nothing. There's no grit, no power, nothing. It's just lame, no balls. And the whole album itself is so boring. There's no energy. They don't gel. It's like
It's like it's like Muzak in an elevator. You know?
I think it's worse than that.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
the only thing I got to say is on the first song, Ice Bridge. That's as close as I heard this singer that they've got get to sounding like um, uh,
John Anderson.
John Anderson. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, he accomplished that to a certain degree. You know, I mean, it wasn't 100%. And you know, I don't think that you should be looking at a singer to mimic that, but I was
Right.
digging for anything on this album to bring me down to Starship Trooper, to you know, Fragile. You know, give me something that replicates Fragile. You know, I mean,
I was even hoping for maybe something close to Drama, which Jeff Downs was on, right? But it was nothing, man. I mean, and the singer to me got on my nerves so bad because it really sounded like a Busch Gardens Irish Celtic singer.
Mhm.
I mean, and honestly, if I didn't know it was a guy, I would have thought it was a girl.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying he just has no energy in his vocals. There's nothing there. It's like, and sometimes he would get into a lower register and it sounded like he had some grit.
Mhm.
But 99% of the time he's up in this falsetto and it just didn't do anything. There's just nothing there. It was very weak and watered down. And I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
if you hear the first song, that's all you ever want to hear on this record.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. This is the first album they did that there were no original Yes members on.
Exactly.
You know, even Steve Howe, he didn't come into
No.
he didn't come into the fold until they were in on their third session.
Right.
And that was the Yes album.
Exactly.
And you know, and Buford was still involved with that, and went on and was involved with Fragile, and
right. And Steve
and
Howe is the
then
longest running member currently.
Close to the Edge, you know, Close to the Edge was the last of Buford's run with the band.
And then Steve Howe left after Drama, and that's when Trevor came in. But you had John Anderson and Chris Squire.
Yeah, well, Chris Squire was the original. He's the one that actually put the band together. Yep. And the bass player that they're using on this was actually handpicked by Chris Squire.
And I mean, Billy Sherwood's been with them since at least Open Your Eyes, which was when they really started to suck.
Right.
I like the Open Your Eyes. Okay, there was some songs on there that you could tell were Billy Sherwood songs, and I didn't like them.
Well, the history on this, you know, the history on the lineage and all that of this album is more interesting to me
than the album.
Listening to the album.
Yeah. But I will say this, it's better than the last stuff they did, the Heaven and Earth or whatever that one was, and then they did another one too. So it is, which is it's so bad. The other ones were so bad that this one's better, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you about the other ones? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to
Well,
me, I mean, this
one
this
thing,
was a big flat nothing for me.
yeah, one thing I want these bands to stop doing, and maybe they need to get with Dave Grohl or somebody like that, but it's to stop using the electronics.
Hmm.
And I've been really iffy with, even with Yes, way back in the day when Buford was toying with the Simmons kits and all that stuff. I mean, it's one thing to be grabbing for different sounds, but if you want the sound of a garbage can lid, just go find you a damn metal garbage can somewhere and take the lid and mount the damn thing.
I was
I
very
mean,
disappointed in the drums on this. Really.
yeah, I was too. I mean, like I said, on my system, of course, I was just streaming. So
Mhm.
there was nothing I could do to really manipulate the sound a whole lot, you know,
It didn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
with streaming. But if I'd have had an LP, I could have pulled one cartridge off and put another one on, trying to change up, well, maybe it's,
You can
you
do
know,
whatever you want to the sound of it, but it ain't gonna make the song better.
yeah.
These
Well,
songs were terrible. They're terrible songs.
yeah.
The
I,
players are fine, I guess. I mean, I didn't like the singing.
right.
Same, Steve Howe's been playing those same licks, that same sound since 1971, I
Yeah,
guess.
my God, how many instruments did he use to get that same sound on this
Right,
album?
right. I know. I
You know
mean,
what I'm saying? It's like, come on.
and I don't want people to get me wrong. I mean, I love Yes. I love these players. I just hate this record. I really do.
Well, I'm old school, yes, and I lost a lot. I stopped kind of following them after, I think Relayer, Close to the Edge, and I don't know. I wasn't even a big fan of Topographical Ocean.
Yeah.
I really
It was a
wasn't.
very hard one to understand.
To me, it was mundane. I needed video to go with it or something. There needed to be something happening visually with
Yeah.
that album to keep me interested. And after that, I just kind of fell off following Yes. You
Well,
know,
for
and the
me,
90125 album really didn't do a whole lot for me.
yeah.
That was real pop rock to me.
Mm.
That wasn't progressive rock.
Right.
And,
Well,
uh, and
we've talked about that record a little bit in the past, and to me, I mean, they had to make a change. Everything was changing music wise. They made the change. I've stuck with Yes for a lot of changes, but I can't stick with this. This
yeah,
is, I mean, the last album, the Heaven and Earth or whatever that one was called. I listened to it, and I honestly could not get through two songs on it. It was so bad. And then
yeah.
I skipped through, and it was just worse and worse and worse. And then this one, I heard the Ice Bridge before the record came out.
Mhm.
They sent out the early releases and stuff, and
Right, right.
it was decent. And I'm like, maybe they're coming back. But no, they scammed me. They scammed me on this record. They put this song out that sounded pretty good. So I bought this record and I wasted my money on it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really did.
one thing I did read about it, like I said, I read another review, and I'm following right down the same path that they pointed out as a well-worn path.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a throwback, and I didn't see anything in their review relating to the last three songs.
Hmm.
Um, and it might be a good reason for that,
Well,
because I mean, a lot of times nothing said at all is better than
well,
saying something.
I'll tell you, speaking of the path, okay, here's the path. I'm gonna show you. You take this path, right? You were Yes, you came all the way up, you got to the top, and then you take these last couple records and then you just throw them right down into there. And don't ever play them, just chunk them right down there. That's the well-weathered path that I think they should do.
Well, you're talking about changing. They needed some changes and stuff. And I think one thing, which was their big root sound, was that Rickenbacker bass.
Well, he was actually
He-
playing a
they-
Spectre, so
well, yeah, but they
Hey,
need
he
they
got the
need to
sound.
that. Yeah, he got that sound, but that's the problem.
Mhm.
It's on every record they do.
Yep.
And you know what? After a while, you sit back and you hear 15 albums and it's got that same sound. You
Well,
get tired of it after a while.
I mean, kind of though. Chris Squire did change his sound up a lot. He did
Yeah.
do some different things. Now, the whole record, everything sounded the same in every song.
Right.
I mean, the drums, the guitars, the bass, keys. He had a plethora of key sounds, but I don't know, man. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm just so disappointed. I'm going to give this one the lowest score that I've given any record yet. And I mean, I feel bad because I like Yes so much. I I'm giving it 2 extra points just because of the cover. Okay. So the cover gets 2 points out of what I'm getting ready to rate this record. So if you take the 2 points off, it doesn't leave much. So I'm giving this record a 2.9. Okay. So the cover gets 2, which gives the record a 0.9.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
I'm sorry, man. I
Yeah.
hated it. I hated
Yeah,
it.
I gotta agree with you. I told my wife, I said, this is mundane. About the only use I could find for this album would be, again, and we've talked about this, if you're throwing a party and you got music rolling, you're able to throw your USB in and mix it up. You put your thumb drive in and you throw this in there for some little breakup of the good hard rocking stuff. It kind of brings it down to a mellow roar. And I don't think people would really know what they were listening to for one song. And then next thing you know, you pick it up again with some good old rock and roll again. But my whole point is that this reminded me of, uh, I'm gonna be honest with you. What it reminded me of was, these are some guys that really opened the door, but they're getting old.
Yeah, I agree.
They're
Well,
getting old, and I'm sorry, but when you've got the resources at your fingertips that these guys have,
yeah,
you can
there's
stay
no
young
excuse.
forever. I mean, there's plenty of examples of that rolling around right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
there is.
you just saw one example here not too long ago. I didn't get to go to the show
Right.
in Seattle, but
Yeah.
Glenn Hughes, my God, that guy's 72 years old.
Yeah,
He's still peeling it out there like it's fresh off the press, man.
exactly. I mean, so I know you're saying that the use that you would have for this record would be background music. I wouldn't even do that to my friends, but I do have one use for this record. My table.
Target practice.
No, I have a table downstairs that wobbles. And it's got it's pretty thick. I think I might be able to level it out with this.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna have to rate it. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna rate it because of the fact that this Steve Howe and Alan White and Chris Squire, even though Chris Squire wasn't there, all these guys are guys that I cut my teeth on.
Me too.
I mean, I got to be a little generous. I'm gonna go with a 4.5.
I'm not gonna be generous. 4.5. I'm gonna be harsh. And I'm holding on my 2.9 because I love the Roger Dean picture. No, I may use this if I ever get autographed from one of them. This would be a good one to autograph because I'm never going to listen to it, so I can just hang it on my wall, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was very disappointed with it. I hate to be harsh, but I'm not gonna lie to people. It is my opinion, and I'm not gonna lie about my opinion.
Well,
even though I love these guys,
I'm not going to sit and make people sit through a record that I had a hard time sitting through.
I mean, seriously, I've got Jeff Downes and Steve Howe's autograph hanging on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give them any more of a better rating because of that, because this album plain sucks.
When I heard Mystery Tour, I'm going to be honest with you, I almost just, I'm glad I didn't own it, but I almost just shut it down and said, I don't want to hear this album again.
Well, I know. And if it doesn't even out my table, I am going to try to trade this thing in for something because I don't want it,
The only thing I can figure that it would be good for is to add to a Yes collection, but at the same time, I can't consider it a Yes collection. The band that they had when they did 90125 or whatever that was, I was pretty put off by that band.
Yeah. Well, I
And-
actually I like Trevor Rabin and John Anderson and Rick Wakeman going out right now with their band, and they sound really great.
I imagine.
I kind of
Rick
wish they'd
Wakeman,
just let them take the Yes name, at least do it
speaking of
some
which,
justice.
speaking of which,
So,
Rick Wakeman's got another album coming out as a solo,
I know he does.
and I'm waiting on it.
Yeah, me too. We'll probably do a review on it. So,
But
well,
I'm
let's
sure.
wrap this thing up, man, because it was so bad.
Yeah, it was. But everybody trips. Everybody.
Yeah,
Trips.
this is the third trip in a row. Excuse
Well,
me.
this is a COVID recording too. I did read that,
I don't care.
and me,
You wait a minute, wait. You
me,
got to stop making up excuses for how terrible this record is.
well, that's what I was getting ready to say though. To me, it shows what a big flub it was, because when you're talking about COVID, people had tons of time on their hands. They weren't working and stuff, and they had all that shit at their fingertips.
You know,
And with the way things are, you can you can network. And I've watched friends of mine in Virginia Beach that network every year and put live simulcast out.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing different parts in different parts of the damn city.
yeah. I mean, that's this, this whole, most of these CDs we reviewed this year have been COVID CDs.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse for this record. This record is just plain bad.
Yeah.
They're not even good songs. If the songs were good, I would give it a better ranking, but the songs are terrible. They're just terrible songs. I mean, that's all I got to say. I'm not going to say anything else because I feel bad about trashing it. And,
Yeah.
I will never put it in my record player again. This is going to go right over on my stack with the Allman Betts and Marcus King. I probably never listen to him again. So,
Yeah. Well,
and-
the thing it reminds me of is the last good performance that they did was when they were inducted into the
Mhm.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
yeah,
and they had Geddy Lee playing bass.
yeah.
They sounded great.
Maybe they should have brought him in on this record.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about this is Greta Van Fleet's looking better.
Oh, don't say that. God knows, don't say that.
Greta Van Fleet's record took a little bit.
Shouldn't even whisper that name in the same sentence with yes. As
I
bad
know,
as the
I
album is,
I'm
you shouldn't even whisper that name in the same sentence.
I know. All right, we'll wrap this up. Yes, The Quest. Go ahead and trash us or trash me anyway, because I just didn't like it. I thought it sucked. If y'all like it, let me know. If you like it, and please let me know why you liked it, because I can't find anything on here that I like, hardly, honestly. So, but anyway, until next time, y'all stay safe.
Yep. And don't buy any Yoko Ono records either. Peace out. Rock and roll.